my go juice right here. Everyone's like, how are you able to do everything that you do? I pray and I drink a lot of coffee. Good afternoon to you guys. Thanks so much for being here today. This is a beautiful day to go out and do what you're about to do. Be the first contact for a lot of people. This is work that should be the most glamorous work. This is the work that is underappreciated. This is where you are in the trench and you have boots on the street and you're going door to door, changing hearts and minds, just like Senator Huster said. Because, see, elected officials and issues and all of that, they are simply a reflection of the electorate. You have to change the electorate before you change out a politician or before you push through an issue. That's just simply a reflection of those people. So we're here talking about the season that I love and hate the most. April, I love it because it's spring, and I hate it because I am a contracted business individual that has to write a check to the Department of the Treasury every single year. And it kills my soul. I pay my fair share, and I pay everybody else's fair share. I pay the people who hate me, send me hate mail, I pay their fair share. I pay the people that I see occupying this and that, I pay their fair share, just like you all do. I was actually looking at the statistics. I started looking at the statistics of this the first moment that I started earning a paycheck for myself. In fact, when I started earning my own money, that's when I became more conservative with my money. Isn't that how that works? The average worker, and this still blows my mind, the average worker works 4 months out of the year before they pay off their tax burden for that year. That is 4 months out of your life that you are paying until you pay off the government. You are working for the government. Right now, some of us are still working for the government right now. That is insane to me. It used to not be like that. Back in, what was it, I think like 1910 or 1900s when we paid about 6% was the top rate. Everybody finished their tax burden by January 22nd. Now, if you keep on going at this rate, with this same accelerated rate of growth for government spending, by 2040, when my child is an adult and he's paying into the government, we will be paying taxes up until December 26th. We will be working for the government until December 26th. Now, I'm going to let that simmer for a little bit. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, America. So we have the Tax Freedom Day on April 21st because that's the day when the nation collectively is liberated from paying a burden to the United States government. And this year, it has fallen 3 days later than it has previously. And this keeps happening. And they think you aren't going to notice this, which I love that about Washington, D.C. God bless them. Just bless their hearts. It's what my grandmother always said, and anybody who lives south of St. Louis understands that when you say bless your heart, you don't really mean bless your heart, especially the way my grandma said it. We know what that tone of voice meant. 3 days later this year. And a recent study came out, I guess this is came out about a month ago. Let this one simmer too. The average American pays more to the United States government in tax than they pay on food for themselves and their families, than they pay for clothing for themselves and their families, than they pay for their own shelter. That is an indisputable fact. We pay more to the government. At what point did our fruits of our labor stop being ours and they started being Uncle Sam's? 3 days later this year, and they think you aren't going to notice. You cannot front what's in somebody's paycheck. You can't fake them out on how much you take out. You can't fake out people who go paycheck to paycheck and people who coupon or Groupon. Love me some Groupon. You cannot fake those people out. They know they're counting their pennies. Washington, D.C. is not. Now, they're counting yours to make sure that you give to them what they say you owe them. But if they don't like your political beliefs, they'll come at you. I work 3 jobs. Now everybody thinks because I'm on TV and because I do a national radio show that I probably drive a Bentley. I'm rich as rich could be. I'm not. I am middle class. I would guarantee that there are people in this room who make and have way more money than I do. I'm just happy. I want to be happy. But I work 3 jobs. And when I sat down and I wrote my check to the U.S. Department of Treasury this year and last year, I noticed that one of my job's entire salaries went to pay my tax burden. Out of my 3 jobs, one entire job, I worked that job just for the government. That's insane to me, because I pay more than the president and the vice president. That's math. That's not, we're kind of enrolling or we're our fuzzy math. That's math. And for what? Why are we paying all of this? What do we have to show for it? I don't know about you, but when I pay money for something, I expect something good back. Have you been getting something good back? Do you feel as though you are being adequately represented for what you are paying into the government? Because I don't. Not at all. I did some research. What I love to do. This is probably going to make you angry, and I'm really sorry for that, but I'm not. I just said that to be polite. For all of the money that you pay into the government, let me tell you where your money's going. Tom Coburn comes out with this waste book every single year. And I read it, and then I get sick every time I read it. I don't know how many of you have heard of this waste book, this government waste book. It's like the Us Weekly People magazine of bad government spending. It's better than the National Enquirer, hands to the sky. I mean, I read this thing, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And then I have to call my girlfriend. Do you realize that we pay $20 million in stimulus money just on signs? Yeah, that's right. $20 million went to put up a sign that says, hey, we're doing something. Don't you think that maybe if they were doing something, we would see it? And that's better than a sign? $20 million we spent on a sign that someone would put up saying, yeah, we're doing something. Sign says so. I saw them whenever I would drive through Illinois, which I try to not do. As soon as you cross over to the Mississippi, and Patrick can probably tell you this, you start seeing all these signs. It's the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. You see these signs on the side of the road. We're doing something to your roads. We're building something over here. Here's a sign. Where they are, because the sign says so. You can't argue with the sign. $20 million of them.